And here come the St. James Wildcats from the west side of this parish, the West Bank side, getting ready for this big rivalry. Wildcats come out 6-0, and here come the Lutcher Tigers, 5-1. They represent the east side, the Lutcher Bulldogs, rather. See them in purple and gold, think they're the Tigers like LSU there for a minute. A year ago, Dwayne Jenkins would have been on the opposite sideline, the visitors' sideline, but this year he starts his first year as head coach of the Lutcher Bulldogs. A few moments ago, Les East had a chance to catch up with him about that.
I'm here with Lutcher coach Dwayne Jenkins. You said earlier this week that you've probably coached about 90% of the kids who are going to play in this game tonight. Now that the preparation's over and you're ready to play, do you think that was an advantage or maybe more of a distraction?
Well, I don't think it's I guess it's a little bit of advantage. You kind of know your personnel that you're playing against. But I really think you got to block all that stuff out. You really just have to prepare for what you see on film. And I just think it's a unique situation. Probably not a lot of coaches that get to do this for very long, get to play a game where you've coached almost every kid that's on the field.
Well, we are set to kick it off. Lutcher won the toss. They deferred. The St. James Wildcats will have the ball first. And this is a jam-packed stadium. There hasn't been a parking spot available since before 3 o'clock. They've been tailgating since before 10 o'clock this morning. And it's a standing room only crowd here at Lutcher. Dante's Costly is deep. Wildcats coming out. Aaron Jasmine will give the Wildcats some pretty good field position, and we will see. DeMarcus Williams coming out at quarterback. He is a junior. 5'10", 172. Good numbers. You see him all the year, and I like that 60% completion rate. 668 yards, but look at the touchdown count.
Well, right. He's done a great job coming in this year where he's normally a wide receiver, and we'll talk more about Lowell Narcisse later tonight. But what a great job this young man has done this year, and he did a great job last year also.
Well, everybody expected Lowell Narcisse to be the starting quarterback. Then he tore the ACL, and suddenly DeMarcus Williams, who was going to be a wide receiver, is a converted wide receiver, and he has done an outstanding job at quarterback because he's just a great little athlete. Pass completion, and here's the players we're going to be keeping an eye on for the St. James Wildcats. You've got Dante's Costly, Cortland Johnson, and Tyler Broden, but I love the wide receiver.
Well, I tell you what, number 9, Dante's Costly, what a great, big, strong receiver this guy is. He's run great routes. He is one of the guys who has to come up big tonight for the St. James Wildcats in the throwing game.
Running's going to be tough against this big defense, and we talked about Cortland Johnson and what he might be able to do on the ground, but you've got to run against some of these big guys like big number 50, Mr. Smith right there. And you look at the Lutcher defense, Thaddeus Wattis and also Dylan Ricotta.
A couple great linebackers. Thaddeus Wattis, though, the Bulldog tackle leader who will have to stop a great group of skilled players for St. James tonight and that good St. James running attack. He's physical and he is smart.
Jonathan Trigg at the running back slot behind DeMarcus Williams. Third down on this opening series to keep this series alive. Directing a little traffic. There's the toss. Wide open man. And they're across the 45 all the way to the 50. Needed to move the chains, and they moved the chains with Cortland Johnson on the catch. So they moved the guy we are normally seeing at running back out that time, put Jonathan Trigg behind him, and look what happened.
They put Cortland Johnson to a route that time. They move him out of the backfield and hit him in a wide open curl route. Great completion, great pass and catch.
23-yard gain. This time they go back to Cortland Johnson. He'll try the middle for a few yards, but it's going to be tough running up the middle, especially against that big Lutcher defensive front and two very fine linebackers who you just talked about, including Mr. Rowdy Scott.
I'll tell you what, it's Rowdy Scott right there making a tackle. He destroyed the middle and the A-gap right there. St. James couldn't move him. Splits the A-gap block and makes a great tackle right there on Cortland Johnson.
Marcus Williams, second down 9. On the fake give, now the pitch. Sidesteps one tackler, and Kirtland Johnson around the left side's got some positive yardage. It looked like he was going to be stopped in the backfield, but a nice move for positive yardage.
Well, I'll tell you what, it started with the quarterback right there. DeMarcus Williams does a great job, and you can see some numbers there on Kirtland Johnson right there. 99 rushes, 787 yards on the season, 9 touchdowns. But that was a triple option we saw right there. Something new from St. James. Reading the down defensive lineman, pulling and pitching it out to Kirtland Johnson on the edge. Pure triple option right there.
Up movement.
Can't do that. That wide receiver should be looking in at that ball, not listening to the sound of his quarterback.
Our referee is Kevin Clement.
Yeah, I mean,
out of the Thibodeau Association.
Right. I mean, what has to happen, that wide receiver's got to look in at the ball. You can see it up top on your video right here. Top of your screen. That's something he'll hear about from Coach Valdez and the staff when he gets to the sidelines.
Now they're going to put Kirtland Johnson at a split position and move Jonathan Tyreke to running back. Going to go long, has a man. It's caught inside the 10, inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Dante's Costly. Dante's Costly, number 9, the senior, got open between 2 defenders. But wait a minute, he may have stepped out of bounds before getting into the end zone at the 8-yard line.
Well, here's a good look at it. They were in a little tight formation, twins to each side. He runs the corner route and splits the defenders right there, gets on top of the corner and in between the safety for a nice reception.
They'll try the run around the right side, and this is Kirtland Johnson again. Gets close, but not there yet.
They're an inside zone with Kirtland Johnson right there. Nowhere to go. All stacked up. No movement on that defensive line for Lutcher right there. They couldn't get him out of the way. What does he do? He bounces to the outside to find some running room and get it down inside the 5-yard line.
Now you've got 2 good runners in both DeMarcus Williams and Kirtland Johnson here, but they'll go right up the middle, and there's your touchdown. There it is. It took him a couple of extra plays to go back and get it, but Kirtland Johnson, who stepped out of bounds before scoring the first one, he gets it this time, and the St. James Wildcats make a little bit of a statement here. They take the opening kickoff and drive down for 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like how they mix the run and the pass right there on that series to be able to get into the end zone. It was a nice mixture of things to be able to move things around, hit the big play in the corner route, and then run the inside zone for the touchdown.
Well, you're looking at the swinging gate. Everybody covered, so it swings back. Ty Lasserre in to attempt the point after. You'll look at it from the end zone. Flag is down. Might have taken him.
They got Lutcher to jump off sides. They jump into the neutral zone. They'll kill the play. They'll move it half the distance down to the 1.5-yard line.
Well, let's see if they swing the gate.
Tell you what they're going to do. They might end up going for 2.
Yeah, they won't have to use the swinging gate. They're just going to straight up pull the kickers off and go for 2.
Well, I mean, they move it a half a distance. They figure if we can't get 1.5 yards, what are we doing? So they're going to go ahead and go for 2 on it. As you can see, the offense is coming back on field for the Wildcats.
Well, they've had such success on this opening series. Just keep that momentum going and use that momentum to try to push the extra one across.
Wildcats attempted a 2-point conversion.
It's an 8-play, 77-yard drive. Took 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Marcus under center. Play action. Quick little toss into the end zone. Had a man wide open and just couldn't get there, but a flag is down. Jonathan Tyreke.
Here's our call. They're discussing it, trying to figure out what's going on here. But they had Jonathan Tyreke off the bootleg, wide open in the flats. He slipped out and was wide open. Just was not a very good thrown pass.
Personal foul. Roughing the pass. That's all against the ball.
Oh, my.
Wow.
That's going to give him a second shot at it.
From the half-yard line.
From the half-yard line now.
Got to be inside the 1 for sure. better bunch in.
Right.
You might just see
Right.
DeMarcus on a quarterback sneak here.
Well, they hit DeMarcus just a little bit late. But I'll tell you what, all he had to do was kind of, Ken, you could have made that pass out there to Jonathan Trigg. Just kind of overthrew him right there. Jonathan Trigg wide open. Let's see what they do for this second attempt at their two-point conversion.
Well, DeMarcus Williams has answered the call at quarterback. He never expected to play that position. Everybody expected it to be Lowell Narcisse. But once the ACL took Narcisse out for the entire season, they used the converted wide receiver. Second effort with the push. Is he in? They don't. There he got it. Got the two-point conversion. So the St. James Wildcats take the opening kickoff and make a statement as they go all the way down for the score. 8-0 St. James over Lutcher. Jam-packed crowd right here at the dog pond, the dog yard rather. Whew, man, I'm telling you, they're loving this one, but not this side. That's the home side. They want to see their Lutcher Bulldogs answer that touchdown with one of their own. This will be Lutcher's first offensive possession with the football, and they're going to squib kick it down low, and a saving recovery by the Bulldogs. Wow.
That was Zane McCrary right there coming up with that big play. He was Johnny on the spot, paying attention to the kick. You got to see the ball in the air as you are on that front line. He saw it in the air coming short to him. He turned around, put his foot in the ground, and caught the ball, planted, caught the ball, and fell down. Great job right there. Very well coached
Dontre
up.
Kirkland is your quarterback. You'll see his numbers come up on the screen. He is an LSU commit. Coach O loves him. He's a fine athlete. Excellent numbers already. Over 1,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns. And he's going to throw on first down. He's going to uncork the bomb. He's got a man down there. Dontre Davis with the catch. How's that for a strike?
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about Aldontre Davis in our pregame show. 6'1", 205, 31 receptions to date, 519 yards. Look at him go up and high point this ball right here and come down and make a statement. I love how Lutcher stretches the defense vertically. They do it on the first play of the game.
A 41-yard gain. Bulldogs on first down again. There's the toss a little too high. And you know they're going to really pick on, or at least try to find Aldontre Davis. Let's take a look at some of the offensive players we want to take a look at and keep an eye on, especially the running back, Vaughn Adams, right there, number 5. Don't be surprised if they put the ball in his hands on this down to see if he can find a hole to get it to the end zone.
Right, he's a returning starter who has rushed for 6 touchdowns on the season, and he's got to come up big tonight for that Lutcher running game to get going.
Kirkland on a keeper, and he's brought down as we take a look at the St. James Wildcat defenders that we'll keep a close eye on tonight. These are the guys that make it go, and boy, I'm just looking at Glenn Brown. What a great defensive backfield this group has. 14 interceptions.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got a couple great guys back there, especially a couple outstanding linebackers. Eltonary Oob, Tyron Jasmine, 2 outstanding linebacker. Oob is the Wildcat leading tackler, and he's got his hands full tonight with that Lutcher skill.
Boy, what a hard hit. What a hard hit. Vaughn Adams touches the football for the first time, and he was really whacked.
He was whacked hard, real hard right there. Tell you what, making that play right there, it looked like that was Sean Preston, strong safety. 6'1", 200 pounds, comes up and fills the alley and makes a great tackle right there.
4th down, big play here. Here comes some pressure. Toss too high over everybody. And that one just floats out of the end zone, the back of the end zone. So the Bulldogs give it up on downs. When we come back, St. James with the football and an 8-point lead. Welcome back to the dog yard here at Lutcher. Lutcher turns it over on downs, trying to get it into the end zone after a big 41-yard pass play to Aldontre Davis. They got down there but couldn't punch it in for the score. And now St. James takes over on downs. Let's take a look at our keys to victory presented all season by Tachi Insurance in LaPlace. Insurance is not for what will happen, but for what could happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, St. James on offense has got to stay on schedule, and they did that in that very first drive. And defensively, they can't give up the jambalaya. And what I'm talking about on the jambalaya again is big plays. They cannot give up those big, deep routes like we just saw early in that Lutcher drive. You know, St. James tonight, Jonte Kirkland must be a threat on both dual threat, being a two-way threat, running the ball, passing the ball, and then on defense they must stop the running game of the Wildcats. They got to shut down Kirtland Johnson.
Now that pass was intended for Kirtland Johnson, incomplete, thrown a little too high. That brings up 3rd down 10. Both teams playing at a pretty fast pace. Williams slows it down a little bit, backs up to his goal line. He's in trouble, will scramble in and out of his own end zone and run down the right side and steps out of bounds before making the 1st down.
Sean Preston from Lutcher puts some pressure on right there. He blitzes from his Mike linebacker position, a 5'11", 185-pound linebacker, slips through there and forces Williams to skate out of that backfield right there. Couldn't find a receiver downfield. You'll see it right here. Nobody there. Here comes the pressure. There's number 4, Preston. Pushes him out of the pocket, nowhere to run.
Now that brings up 4th down.
Aldontre Davis back deep.
And 6. So the Wildcats will punt this ball away from their own end zone. A low punt, slapped down, fumbled loose on, picked up by the Wildcats. Now it's a dead ball. They can't advance it. They'll get the ball where they picked it up, but what a break for St. James.
Mistakes can't happen like that. Aldontre Davis has to do one of two things. He's either got to get that hand up for the fair catch and fair catch that football, or he's got to peter it and get away. When I say peter, get all of his teammates away from the ball. He makes a huge mistake. You can see the young man right there wishes he had that one back again. Big, big break right there for St. James, getting out of that hole, taking over the ball at the 50-yard line. Here's another look at it. I mean, he should have either fair caught that ball or he should have just let the thing roll, petered the ball and gotten away from it.
Another good look here.
Bad mistake. I feel for the young man.
Now that moves the ball out to the 40-yard line. 1st down, trying to run on the right side. Dantes Sterling with his first carry tonight, the sophomore.
Running the inside zone running game out of one back, no tight ends. And they love to run that inside zone. Puts a lot of pressure on those offensive linemen to get movement on that Lutcher defensive line, which is real good.
Sterling again, this time a little bit more of a hole. He'll push forward across the 50-yard line, and that'll be enough to move the chains for a 1st down for the Wildcats after that 7-yard gain. So on 2 carries, got the yards he needed, got the 11 yards he needed to move the chains for the Wildcats.
Watch the jump cut right there. Everything's clogged up. A gap, jump cut, B gap. That's what you do on the inside zone, and that's exactly what Dantes Sterling did right there. Read the A close, jump cut B. Nice cut by that running back. Great numbers right there. 300 yards on the season, 301 yards on the season already with 38 rushes.
Last year had only rushed the ball 4 times. One of the players they wanted to develop, and they have developed him, and he's answered the call as he carries again inside the 45-yard line. And this drive right here is just a Dantes Sterling drive, and by keeping it on the ground, just trying to wear down a little bit that Lutcher defense, which has been on the field a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, still pounding that inside zone out of open and spread formations.
Sterling, the back. One more time he gets the call. And he has another first down for the Wildcats. They're making this look simple with the running game on the ground. They're creating some holes, and Dontez Sterling has taken advantage of an 8-yard gain.
Let me tell you who's creating those holes up front. It's that left guard and that left tackle, LaShawn Lewis, Jarius Hooker for the St. James Wildcats. And what's happening is they're getting great movement right there. That's allowing him to read that inside zone properly and find the open creases and hit them.
Your only returning starter on that St. James offensive line is the center, Tyler Broden. Everybody else new and playing very, very well. Here's the toss. It's caught. And that's caught by Shamar Smith.
Tell you what, Shamar Smith, there's a nice little route right there, and they get the ball out quick to him. They're mixing in that little short passing game with the inside zone running game. You can see the nice release right there by Williams. There's Shamar Smith right there catching the ball and getting vertical on the boundary. Great protection by that offensive line. Good look at Shamar Smith right there. 5 catches, 87 yards on the year, 2 touchdowns.
And he's a freshman. First and 10, St. James. Long sustained drive. Here goes Cortland Johnson again. Cortland Johnson, fumble! Lutcher says they have it. And they do. Little fight for the ball down there. Wait a minute.
They're fighting for that ball. They're going to make sure that they get it. I think that was Dylan Ricotta coming up with that, number 14. There's a good look at him right there coming on the field.
But with that, we will take a break. The Lutcher Bulldogs force a turnover, get the football back, and still trail by 8. To break, and they got one. They forced the fumble, got it. They have the football. First and 10 at their own 16. Flag on the play.
Illegal procedure against the Bulldogs.
Tell you what, making some costly mistakes right here from that standpoint. You know, the muff the fumble on the punt, a couple of penalties on St. James' first drive, and a big penalty. They're starting behind the sticks here. First and 15. Not a way to start an offensive drive.
Trey Kirkland, your quarterback, rolling near his own goal line, throwing on the run, incomplete, intended for Tyreke Belvin.
Tell you what, great coverage right there by the St. James secondary. On that coverage right there, Rashad Pierre, Sean Preston out there also supplying some coverage. Good look right there at Trey Kirkland. I tell you what an athlete this young man is. He's going to be committed to LSU as an athlete, and they're getting a really fine kid that can be able to return punts, catch passes as a wide receiver. He could probably even play in the secondary at the next level. We know he can play quarterback. We've seen it for 2 years.
Kirkland does a little bit of a Houdiniac and escaping, throws it's caught by Aldontre Davis, who comes back for the football. And what a catch. Aldontre Davis with another big play gets the Bulldogs out of a hole and out to midfield. How about Aldontre Davis?
One of the things I said about one of the keys for St. James defense is they can't give up the jambalaya. They just gave it up right there. Listen to me, you can't give up these big passes like this with the ball floating in the air. That should have been a pick by the guys in the white jersey. Great job.
42-yard gain.
Right. Great job by Aldontre Davis coming back to catch the ball, but that should have been picked off.
Kirkland with an empty backfield will run out of it. He's got good numbers when he runs and good legs, and he gets a first down on that run. Trey Kirkland, again, having rushed 67 times for 313 yards, coming in here, picks up 12 more on that jaunt.
On those 2 plays, Ken, you can see what type of dual threat this athlete is. I tell you what, he got away from the rush down with his end zone to his back, and right there, he rushes on the zone read and picks up a big first down for the Bulldogs.
Good look at Aldontre Davis right there. Wow. This senior had over 20 offers from the big conferences. There's a toss, caught on the left side, a gain of a few. That one caught by Jacoby Williams, the junior.
Threw it to the number 3 receiver inside on a little stop route. They're going to pick up only 4 yards on that one. Lutcher giving a lot of formations. Right there, they're coming out of all their empty formations where they have 3 wide receivers to their left, 2 wide receivers to their right, spreading that secondary of St. James out, creating a lot of holes and gaps in their zone coverage.
When you go empty backfield like this, too, your running backs are out there. You just have so many options for a quarterback like Tyreke Kirkland who can move as well as he does. And this shows why. Look at Tyreke Kirkland breaking 1 tackle and a second, and he's diving for the end zone. Doesn't make it, just short of the end zone. How about that run by Tyreke Kirkland of 31 yards?
Well, that puts pressure on the defense, as you just said, Ken, when they're all spread out like that, an empty formation, so it becomes a little quarterback draw right there. And look at this man accelerate down the field. I'll tell you what, LSU has picked up an outstanding athlete. He's lucky he gets pulled down right there at the 1. Great job by number 7, saving the tackle. That was Sean Preston for the Wildcats on the tackle.
Now you've got Vaughn Adams and Jacoby Williams as running backs with Kirkland. Kirkland on the keeper. He'll spin into the line, into the end zone, spins around, touchdown! Touchdown! Tyreke Kirkland. This young man can do it all.
Right there, he lets everything develop in front of him. He catches the ball, lets the line surge right there. The 2 backs go to their right, and Tyreke Kirkland goes right up the middle and gets into the end zone.
You can see why Kirkland is PRI's and Renee Nato's number 12 area player. Just that good. He glides, he's electrifying, he's smooth, he's exciting with the football. He's everything they talked about on PRI.
Lutcher elects
the point is up and good.
Right, Lutcher elects to kick the PAT real early in the ball game. It's just 1:54 left in the first quarter. Rather than going for 2, they'll go ahead and take the 1, and they'll be 1 point behind in the first quarter.
Is capped off the 6-play drive for the score. Scored first before he lost the football. 6-play, 84 yards, a minute 45, extra point good. It's 8-7. St. James with the lead, but that young man, Tyreke Kirkland, just led Lutcher right back into this game. Looking to build your dream home soon? Townsend Homes specializes in personalized homes on your home site. We proudly serve the river parishes and all Southeast Louisiana. We are the builder that cares. Check us out at mybuildercares.com. That's Townsend Homes. Well, how about that by the Bulldogs and by their quarterback, Tyreke Kirkland.
Well, one of the things we said was a key for the Lutcher offense was Tyreke Kirkland had to be a dual threat tonight, and he's shown that so far in the first quarter.
Well, your kicker is also a fine defensive back for these Lutcher Bulldogs.
Back deep for the Wildcats, number 9, John Jess Falsley. And number 8, Donovan Jasper.
Kick deep. Taken on the backspin. And the Wildcats with a nice return. Cut inside the 15, and that's Dantes Costly again on the return for a 20-yard return. Let's go downstairs to Les East with a little bit more. Les?
Yeah, guys, one of the guys helping DeMarcus Williams with the transition from wide receiver to quarterback is St. James first-year quarterback coach Dre Joseph. You might remember him not only from playing at West St. John, but he is the career passing yardage leader and passing touchdown leader in the history of Southern University. I talked to him briefly before the game, and he was saying there's really 3 areas where Williams has shown improvement in the transition: timing on certain routes that he wasn't used to from not having played a lot of quarterback. Also, taking charge in the huddle, having the confidence to do that, and then recognizing what he sees from the defense and checking out of bad plays. Joseph said he saw a lot of development last week in that final area. He thinks it's going to pay off tonight. He said this will be his biggest test so far. Back to you, Ken.
Yes, and that's Dontez Sterling with the run on first down, and he is injured on the field. And this young sophomore has been one of the outstanding running backs on this Wildcat team.
Looked like they're looking at his right ankle. I think it got rolled up on as Dylan Ricotta made a nice play from his outside linebacking position to come up and tackle the sweep. And I think it looked like his right ankle got rolled up on underneath Dylan Ricotta right there.
If you're injured on Friday, the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute is open on both the North and South Shore for Saturday morning clinic. Ochsner Sports Medicine, the region's most comprehensive sports medicine services. Oh, Dontez Sterling.
See if we can see it right
Getting a little
there.
Help off the field.
There's your roll up right there.
On that ankle. Wow.
There you saw it.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts looking at it. That's just a. Oof.
Grab his right ankle right there. You can see how they rolled up on it.
So they help him off the field. And he is replaced by Jonathan Trigg, the 5'10", 195-pound senior. Trigg moves to the right. Keeper by DeMarcus Williams. Hit hard at the 25-yard line. Thaddeus Wattis.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about Thaddeus Wattis earlier, and I'll tell you what, this young man not only can tackle, but he can get up and dance, too. He's the tackle leader for the Bulldogs. What a fine athlete he is, a fine football player he is. Nice form tackle. Here's a good look at it right here. Quarterback takes off. Hello. Right there, great tackle.
Boom.
Look at that dance.
3rd down 10. Big play to move the chains, keep something going. Williams fooled everybody. Well, people weren't sure the way he pulled up if he still had the football, but he does, and he continues to dance around. He's in trouble, spun around and dropped back at the 15-yard line. Flag is down.
Tell you what, that took about 20 seconds to run around in the backfield. We've got some sort of penalty down here. They're pointing at Lutcher. We didn't get the full view of it right there.
There was a point when DeMarcus Williams rolled out and just stopped, and I think some of the defensive players thought he had handed it off, and he was out of the play like a quarterback running to just pull up.
Let's correct that. I think they call it grounding right there. Had nowhere to throw the ball. Let's watch this thing. All right. Go to my right, nobody there. Flush, flush, flush. Go to my left, nobody there. Run to my right, nobody there. Oh, my goodness. And there's Dylan Ricotta. And then he tries to throw the ball away at the last second. There's your flag. That is intentional grounding.
And see, I thought he was down before he even threw the football. So the punt is short. It's a line drive. There's a return on this one inside the 20-yard line. And Lutcher will have just some great field position on Aldontre Davis's fine punt return.
Well, I'll tell you what, right there, he makes a good decision, all right? He catches it on the run, gets up, and almost breaks that thing, and it puts Lutcher inside the red zone right there, starting at the 20-yard line. Look at this. Put the ball away, though. He's got to put the ball away.
Wow. Great speed by this young man, and he's got the ability to cut also.
Tell you what, I like this guy. What an athlete, man.
If you're a quarterback, you like to start with this kind of field position right here. So the very dangerous Chantre Kirkland drops back. He's got time. A hole. It closes quickly. Flag is dropped. And they're going to drive Kirkland, who doesn't want to go down. They drive him back, and that's big Jason Dumas. Boy, Coach Valdez calls him a monster on that defensive line for the Wildcats.
We've got a holding on the Lutcher Bulldogs right up inside. That's usually where the flag is thrown. You're going to get that. It's going to back them up from the spot of the penalty. But I tell you what, Chantre Kirkland right there had nowhere to go. Runs right into the arms, as you said, of big Jason Dumas.
Well, that's going to be it for the first quarter of play here from the Dog Yard in Lutcher. 8-7 St. James. Start the second quarter of play. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, Les East on the field. Our entire WHNO-TV crew. We've got a good one here. The big rivalry, the battle for St. James Parish, 8-7. The Wildcats from the West Bank leading the Bulldogs from the East Bank. But Aldontre Davis on the catch is putting the Bulldogs in scoring position inside the 10-yard line on the throw from John Trey Kirkland.
Tell you what, Ken, I love how Aldontre Davis knows exactly where to sit down in the zone. Runs his route, he's running a deep out right here, and he just feels the softest right in the zone and just sits down right there and gets delivered the ball. I'll tell you what, he is a real heads-up wide receiver. He knows exactly how to sit his routes down.
Vaughn Adams, the running back, takes the handoff, and he's caught and buried in the backfield for a loss of a few, and that was Tyron Jasmine.
Tyron Jasmine, one of that group of really good St. James linebackers. He's their sack leader, does a nice job right there. You can see it right here. He gets there, and also getting there was Tyreke Stewart, another one of those really good St. James linebackers.
Second down. Right in his face, he'll turn, throw. Aldontre Davis coming back on the inside screen. He'll take it to the end zone. Aldontre Davis, touchdown.
Double screen. He looks to his right. John Trey Kirkland looks to his right and then comes back to his left to Aldontre Davis for the wide receiver screen to his left. It was set up as a double screen to both sides. Nothing there on the right. Comes back to the screen on the left. Davis hits the seam. 6 points. Bulldogs.
Well, here comes the point after. Bulldogs have 14 on the board, lead 14-8. Another look at the. Hey, rather than a touchdown, look at these Lutcher fans. First lead of the night, they're loving it. Packed house here in Lutcher, as you would expect when Lutcher and St. James play. 4-play, 80-yard drive, took 55 seconds. Aldontre Davis on that double screen catch. He takes it into the end zone. Lutcher has their first lead of the night. Home crowd loving it. And here's the deep kick, which will go into the end zone and be coming back out. Another good look at that touchdown, Wade. You talked about the double screen.
There's the pump look to the right, not there, coming back to the left. They set up screens to both sides. It's a tunnel screen over here to the left to Davis, and he catches it, gets right behind his blockers, hits the seam in the tunnel, and he's in the end zone. Very nicely set up, very nice execution.
Well, if you're the St. James Wildcats, you look like you were in control of this football game. You went out in front 8-0, and all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard, and it's been a little bit of Aldontre Davis, and suddenly you're down by 6.
Can't give up the jambalaya. Big plays. Tell you what, they can't get away from what they're doing offensively because they are moving the ball on this Bulldog defense.
I know I tried to get your bowl of jambalaya. You wouldn't give it up pregame, so they have to listen to you. You've got it down. Verlin Johnson nowhere, and that Lutcher defense has found a way to close the hole. Dylan Ricotta
blitzes from his outside linebacker position right through the B gap. A B gap, boom, between the guard and the center, hits it right up in there and slams the hole shut.
Tackles leader Dylan Ricotta loves the leadership role, also as a catcher on the baseball team here for the Bulldogs. Second down, 10. Williams. Fake to the first back, toss to the second. Not much going there. Thaddeus Wattis.
Tell you what, very well defended by the Lutcher defense on the triple option. Again, we saw this back in the first quarter. There's the first read, and there's the second option right there. Nowhere to go. Thaddeus Wattis right there coming from his outside linebacker position to take care of the pitch. Nice job by the Lutcher defense. You got to play assignment football when you see option. Lutcher did that right there. Took all three options away.
Jonathan Trigg, 5'10", 195, a bowling ball behind DeMarcus Williams. He's going to need to get something here on third and a little bit more than 7. A lot of room to run if he decides to do so. Williams takes the inside cut and pays the price for it as he's flipped up.
Looks like he got the first down. He scrambles out of that. Yeah, nothing there. He looks downfield. Please put the ball away. Thank you right there, and he puts the ball away, and he gets the first down on a hard hit by a Bulldog defender.
Cohen Wiggins with that hard hit flipped him up in the air, but not until Williams got the first down on the 10-yard gain. So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, who keep the chains moving. Kirtland Johnson is the running back behind DeMarcus Williams. Toss to the left side, caught, short gain on the top side. Dylan Ricotta in again to make the stop.
Dylan Ricotta out there. Lutcher's giving a lot of too high secondary, which is giving St. James a 6-man box look. I don't know why they don't get back to the running game. You know, 6 and 5-man boxes, you got to try to pound that rock inside a little bit and run the football, especially against a too high secondary like Lutcher is giving them.
Marcus Williams, second down, 6. And off Johnson, nowhere to go in the middle, hits a wall and is dropped immediately.
Well,
number of players in on the stop.
Well,
Preston
right.
was the big guy there, number 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the reasons that they're having trouble running the ball. That those 4 guys inside with Rashawn Preston, one of their inside linebackers, Luda Smith, Rowdy Scott, Williamson, and their 4-man front right there are just shutting it down right now.
Now that brings up a 3rd down. Keep the chains moving. They'll need 6. Williams has Kirtland Johnson behind him. The fake to him. He'll throw long down the left side. Well defended and intercepted by Marquand Williams.
Tell you what, Marquand Williams has inside position on the go route or the fade route right there. Looks and leans right into the body of the receiver and gets a great pick. Here's a good look at it. What perfect position. He's inside, leaning right there with a great position, bodying up on the wide receiver, Tyreke James of St. James, and he comes down with a huge pick.
I don't think you can play that one any better than Williams played it defensively.
Tell you what, it's textbook right there, the way he looked and leaned and got into the body of his receiver, and that's the way you want to be able to play the vertical route by a wide receiver if you're a corner.
A 6-foot junior, and he gets his first interception of the year, and it was played as pretty as you can play it. At the 38-yard line of Lutcher, first down. Trey Kirkland once again on the scramble. He's so dangerous. He wants to go long. He wants to go deep. Hits a man off the shoulder pad, and a flag is down. Aldontre Davis looking for a little help, and he'll get it.
Well, what happened is Aldontre Davis broke long on the scramble drill. Jontre Kirkland's running around. The receiver breaks long. Here's our call.
Kevin Claymore, referee from the Thibodeau Association.
Is he going to give us our call? It should be pass interference against St. James.
Pass interference from the defense, number 13, 15-yard penalty.
All right.
Play results in a first down.
Well, you're going to see the pass interference on the replay right here. Scramble drill right there. You can't face guard in high school football. You got to have your face turned back towards the ball. The defender knew he was beat,
Well, look, that's Glenn Brown, and Glenn knows how to
right.
play that better than that. Glenn's
Right.
got 6 interceptions on the year, a touchdown, 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. He's a good defensive back. He was beaten just trying to come back and wanted to make sure he didn't catch the pass. He didn't give up the touchdown, though. He only gave up 15 yards. So,
Right.
again, one of those not a real bad penalty if you think you're going to get beat and lose the touchdown.
And in high school, Ken, it changed 2 years ago. It's no longer an automatic first down on an offensive or a defensive pass interference.
Picks up 5.
Little toss right there. That is actually a pass, a forward pass right
Tyreke
there.
Belvin.
Yep. To Mr. Belvin right there as he's coming from his wide receiver position on the wide receiver's sweep.
Jacoby Williams on this catch for a first down. He's to the 32-yard line, and it doesn't take the Bulldogs when they pick the pace up long to move that football down the field.
Tempo, tempo, tempo. They like to get the call in fast from upstairs down to the field and from the field into the quarterback, and they're going to communicate it real fast and try to pick up their speed.
Vaughn Adams, the running back, but they're going to go long down the other side. It is a diving catch. Touchdown! What a catch by Gregory Clayton.
Gregory Clayton on the vertical stretch on the go route again. I like how Lutcher likes to throw the ball vertical and stretch the secondary. And right there, that ball was right on the money. Great catch by Gregory Clayton.
Gregory Clayton. A 31-yard touchdown catch. And my goodness, it just doesn't get any prettier than that as Alec Bland comes in to attempt the point after. This is a big play. Strike quick. Lutcher offense. And this one's drilled through. So all of a sudden, the Bulldogs, who were down 8-0, have taken a 21-8 lead in this big battle of St. James Parish. Time now for Traditions, presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905, with locations downtown in Metairie and in Mandeville. Last year's meeting in the 3A state championship game was not the first time St. James and Lutcher have faced off in the postseason. In 1984 and in 2002, the schools met in the second round of the playoffs. See Coach Tim Detillier right there. Head coach at Lutcher since 1991, stepping down this year and turning over the reins to Dwayne Jenkins. Let's go down to Les East for more. Les?
Thanks, Ken. And I'm here with a guy who knows a lot about this Lutcher-St. James rivalry, former Lutcher quarterback Terrence Jones. Terrence, we were just talking upstairs about the playoff matchups that have happened between these schools 3 times. You were on the Lutcher team that did it the first time in 1982. What do you remember about that first ever playoff meeting between these 2 schools?
Well, a loss, unfortunately. But at that time, we were very young. I was, at least. As obviously, the matchup between Lutcher and St. James produces people. You can lock down the parish on a Friday night against when Lutcher and St. James play. But memorable in that I was young. We lost the game. And it kind of stuck with me during the offseason until we played them the following year.
Now, you were just a sophomore on that team when y'all played in the playoffs. 1983 was a much different story. Tell us how that turned out.
Well, again, it had a year under my belt, not only myself, but offensive players as well as the defensive players. And we felt as if we had a nucleus on both sides of football to carry ourselves over from the previous year. And when we met them again, we knew we had an edge on them. But obviously, when you play against your opponent and it's a rivalry game, you do know that anything goes. And I think what happens is that we produce what we were supposed to produce. And I had a pretty good game. We was clicking on all cylinders, and it turned out in our favor.
And how did that season end?
Well, actually, we were undefeated. That record still stands to this day, 14-0. I was a junior, and and that was pretty personal accomplishment on my part. I was a junior. We went 14-0 that year, and that record still stands to this day. And I think it's an accomplishment of the coaches as well as defensive players we had at the time, as well as offensive players, because it was a special year that year.
And, of course, he went on to an outstanding career at Tulane University. Back up to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Les. And the 22-yard pass to Dantes Costley is followed by a short run by Jonathan Trigg. And it's second down and short, or rather second down and long for the Wildcats, with DeMarcus Williams right there at quarterback. Good look at him. I remember so well watching Terrence Jones play a few times here at Lutcher, and a lot as the quarterback of the Tulane Green Wave with Mack Brown. Interesting story I'll pass on to you right after this play. How about that? Another run up the middle, nowhere. It'll be third down and about 7 for the Wildcats. And at the time, Barry Switzer was coaching Oklahoma and Mack Brown was the offensive coordinator, and both were recruiting Terrence Jones to go to Oklahoma. And Terrence, I think, was ready to go there. But when Mack got the head coaching job at Tulane, Barry said, "My gift to you, your hometown quarterback right there from Lutcher. You should take him at Tulane. You're going to win games with him." And Mack turned that program around with Terrence Jones at quarterback.
Well, Terrence Jones was a special one, and I was a young coach. I had the opportunity to be able to coach against him and watch him play, and he was outstanding.
Third down, quick little pass. It'll be caught but short of the first down. So the Wildcats are going to have a decision to make on fourth down and 1. That pass caught by Kirtland Johnson. So now it's going to be now let's see that yeah, I was wondering that for a moment it didn't look like they were going to flip the downs marker on the other side, but it is fourth down and 1, and no punt team coming onto the field here. So fourth down, less than 1. What are you going to do here, Wade? Up the middle, pass, play action.
I think what they're going to have to do is spread the defense here a little bit, and I think we're going to see some sort of sprint out possibly by the quarterback or a quarterback sneak. There's
your sneak, pushing forward. He's hit, pushed back, forward progress, I believe, has it, but we're going to have to wait for a measurement because a lot will depend on the placement of the linesman.
I think that by the mark and what it looks like, he's going to pick up the first down on the sneak.
He's got it. So DeMarcus Williams gets it, moves the chains. St. James' drive is still alive. Wildcats scored first in this game after a penalty, which went half the distance to the 1.5, and then another to the half-yard line. Went for 2, made it, led 8-0, and then the Bulldogs have reeled off 21 straight, flag down, and they lead this one 21-8.
Oh, we got a timeout.
Timeout being called by the Wildcats. They'll talk about this. We'll take this break with them and come back in just a moment. Out. Standing room only at Lutcher High School for the Battle of St. James Parish. 1st and 10. St. James on a very important drive. Just on the Bulldogs side of the 50. Screen pass inside. It's caught. Shamar Smith, the freshman, hit. He'll gain a few. Here's the thing about this drive. As we go under the 4-minute mark in the first half, St. James, who took that early 8-0 lead, fell behind 21-8. If they don't score on this drive, what happens? This is a critical drive.
They've got to come away with something, Ken, from this standpoint, because they can't let this thing slip away from them. They've been giving up the big play all night. Lutcher gets the ball to come out the second half. Remember, they deferred. They've got to come away with some points. They got to be able to walk in that locker room and say, hey, we're still in this thing and we're okay.
Tyreke is the running back, but he'll be a blocking back. DeMarcus Williams starts to run. Now he'll throw. DeMarcus Williams with the completion, and that'll move the chains on a big, humongous catch by Jaharis James.
Found Jaharis James sitting right in the middle of the secondary. Look at him step up. There he is right there. Just toss it right out. Nice pickup. Sitting right down in the middle of the zone for a big pickup for St. James. With 3:25 left on the clock. Moving the ball, moving the chains.
27-yard gain, his 6th catch of the year, and it came at an opportune time for the Wildcats. First and 10 inside the 20, and whistles blow. Flag is down at the 20-yard line. Linesman's flag. Looks like a false start.
Neutral zone infraction. Neutral zone infraction on the offense, number 52, 5 yards, still first down.
That's the right tackle to Sean Lewis.
Sean Lewis lines up in the neutral zone and is an offensive lineman. You're going to have to get that straight at halftime. I think I'd pulled all of my hair out, which I did at one time doing that.
Is that why you had?
That's why I don't have any hair.
Oh, you coaches who were linemen when you played. You pay a lot of attention and take a lot of pride in the line. There's a short pass caught, and then Ethan Bland on the tackle. Wildcats with a short gain on that.
Ethan Bland comes up and makes a great stop out on the little quick screen out to the number 2 receiver to St. James left. Nice job by Ethan Bland.
Second down. 14. They're also playing the clock. 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. Tyreke, the big running back, picks up the pressure. Now DeMarcus Williams has to scramble out of it, and Williams will step out of bounds wisely to stop the clock. Got a few yards on that one, but it's still going to be 3rd down and long.
He missed the underneath receiver. They were running little mesh routes underneath the zone coverage, and he just didn't see it. If he would have dumped that ball off to the St. James receiver, and I believe that was Devon White coming through there on the underneath drag. He'd have dumped that ball off right there. They would have probably scored on that because the whole secondary was ran off. Nobody was on the receiver. Could have been a big play.
Right defensive end, Norris Johnson is just out of breath. He's just breathing heavily for the Lutcher Bulldogs, but they go the opposite way. Tossed down low, incomplete. Tried to scoop it and save it, but Shamar Smith was unable to do so.
Ball hits the ground before Shamar Smith can get his hands underneath it. You know, the thing about this is St. James can run the football, they can throw the football, they can scramble with the football and make things play right here. It's just that defensively tonight so far in the first half, they've been giving up that big play. They haven't created the big plays on their own, on their offense.
They're just out of field goal range here, so they're going to go for it on 4th and 12. Got to get to about the 10-yard line for a first down. Here's the toss. They're going for everything in the end zone, and it's knocked away. Good defensive play by Zane McCrary.
Zane McCrary right there just tips it away at the last second and comes up really big.
He knows it too.
Wouldn't you? Tell you what.
And without that tip, it might be 6 on the board for the Wildcats.
Well, you're playing with emotion. You can get a look at it right here. You can see the receiver right there just out the end of his fingers. That was Kurt Glenn Johnson just not able to get it. And Zane McCrary gets his fingertips on it, just knocks it away at the last second, and he's running around real excited. That's the great thing about high school football. You can get excited and show your emotions, and that's awesome.
Well, Lutcher has 2:07 to play with if they want to try to do something, or they may decide just to take this big lead into the locker room. Jean-Trey Kirkland on first down. Gets a few, brought down by Kyron Harris, the defensive tackle.
Tackled by Tyreke Stewart.
Second down, 9. Empty backfield for Kirkland. Dropped the snap. It's still on the ground. Falls on it and saves it. Just saves it for the Bulldogs. My goodness.
Well, he's looking at his receiver kind of nonchalantly looking away, and he just kind of puts his fingertips on it. First of all, you got to take care of the ball. You know, he's got to come over and he's got to hear from his offensive coordinator a little in an elevated voice how you got to take care of the ball. And I'm sure that's going to happen. You know, Dwayne Jenkins and his staff do a great job coaching. You know, the Lutcher staffs have always done a great job. Tim Detier, former coach there, one of the best in the business. You know, always made sure those little things like that were taken care of.
Less than a minute to play in the first half. 3rd and 18. Trying for a strip of the ball. They get the strip. Balls on the ground. Picked up, however, by one of the linemen. And one of the linemen laterals it off to another. How about that for a play trying to keep it alive? You've had a couple of linemen involved in laddering the football. The guy who gets it last is Alex Beer.
I'll tell you what, that was a lineman's dream. But it started with nonchalantly holding on to the ball again by John Kirkland, and it could probably be a forward lateral between the two linemen. That's what they're discussing right now. But let's go back to the root of the problem here. It was Jontre Kirkland being not very intensified with the ball. He was nonchalantly holding the ball. He gets stripped, almost a big play for St. James. But you got to take care of that ball down there inside the 20-yard line. Let's look at it again. There's the fumble. And, yeah, that's a forward pass from a lineman to a lineman. It's a legal receiver, number 1.
So it's the center, Braden Bauer, who gets it first, and Braden doesn't know what to do with it. He does know what to do with it. He's trying to pass it behind him. But he's sending it to an illegal. Actually, I think the pass was okay. I think it's just an illegal receiver.
Correct. So they're going to lose. They will lose.
Eligible receiver.
Right, an eligible receiver. They're going to lose a down on that, and it's going to back them up deep into their end zone where they're going to have to punt out of the back of the end zone.
4th and 18. And another flag is down. The Wildcats have 2 timeouts remaining, so if they get good field position, you can do quite a bit with less than 30 seconds, and they'll probably get this ball back with maybe around 30 seconds on the clock at this. 40 on there now.
All right, I think one of the guys wants pizza after the game, the other one wants a hamburger. And Coach Valdez just wants the
Robert
football.
Valdez says
he just wants the football. Give me the football, guys. I got 2 timeouts.
Snap that ball.
And
no flag. They're going to pick it up. Wave it off.
Timeout was called by St. James.
There you go.
That's their second team timeout. Timeout.
Next on WHNO, it's more football as the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs take on the UMass Minutemen, the University of Massachusetts. Can the Bulldogs extend their winning streak? Stay tuned to find out next on WHNO. And a reminder, we'll have college football on WHNO every Saturday at 2:30 through the end of November. Terry Bradshaw's alma mater, my undergraduate alma mater, Louisiana Tech. Fine football program up there.
Absolutely. What's great is back-to-back football on WHNO. That's awesome.
Actually, Saturday, when you're watching this, it's back-to-back-to-back football.
That is correct.
Because
that's Saturday.
You're watching this game on Saturday, unless you're watching it on sportsnola.com on Friday. Then you're watching Louisiana Tech at UMass. And then, we're going to tell you about the third one coming up in just a moment. Hold on.
And I think that's going to be a great one.
Ooh, I can't wait. 2 great 9-5A teams. Just like 2 great teams here. Watch the rush on this. Good blocking. Bad punt. It's on the ground all the way. It's just getting a great Lutcher roll. And this is eating up some time on the clock. Somebody's got it down or just fall on the ball.
Well, Lutcher's doing the right thing right there.
Yeah, no, Lutcher's doing the right thing.
And,
the Wildcats have a 32-yard punt, which could have been a lot less had somebody picked it up. And we mentioned the third game of our triple header. Now this is the first of a doubleheader weekend on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Catch a key Catholic League matchup between John Curtis and St. Augustine. Watch it live on SportsNola.com Saturday at 2:30 and catch the rebroadcast Saturday at 6 on WHNO. That's Curtis and St. Aug Saturday on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. St. James now with just under 30 seconds to play in the half, but they're at the Lutcher 38-yard line. Marcus Williams, room to run, and he will get out of bounds or not. He does not get out of bounds, but so immediately St. James has to call timeout. He was trying to get there and couldn't get there. Timeout with 17 seconds to play in the half.
Well, Robert Valdez is right there. He's getting on his quarterback and telling him to get out of bounds as fast as he possibly can.
He was trying.
He just couldn't get there, and it cost the last timeout. That's a pretty important timeout there. Now they're going to have to take it and either work the sidelines with the ball or take their shots at the end zone.
Hey, credit Rashawn Preston, too, the fine linebacker for Lutcher. He knew that DeMarcus Williams was trying to get out of bounds, and he turned on the afterburners from his linebacker spot. Not bad for the big old senior 5'11", 185 linebacker to get over there and deny DeMarcus Williams the ability to stop the clock out of bounds. It forces St. James to burn that timeout, and Dwayne Jenkins is saying, proud of my linebacker for that. Very proud of my linebacker for that first year as the head coach back at Lutcher. He was an assistant coach for Tim Detillier. Last year he was on the opposite sideline for the last few years over on the St. James sideline, but kind of like Bear Bryant once said when Alabama called him away from Kentucky, Mama called, Alma Mater called. When Alma Mater calls, you go back to Alma Mater, and he's back here at Lutcher and taking a lot of pride in being the head coach of this football program. Second down, 5. At the 33. They're going to toss one long into the end zone, have a man there. It is knocked away again. A pretty defensive play once again by Zane McCrary.
Zane McCrary, Johnny, on the spot right there, denying Dontez Costley the go route or the fade route down the boundary right there. The ball was very well thrown, but I tell you what, coming from his safety position, you'll see Zane McCrary coming across the top, knocking that ball away. That's the way you play cover 2. Staying across the top is a cover 2 safety right there, coming off that hash, getting across the top of the vertical receiver. Great job.
11 seconds to play in the half. Third down, 2 shots at the end zone. If DeMarcus Williams can find Dantes Costley or Kirtland Johnson, often coming out of the backfield. This time he split wide to the right. Lots of time. There goes that toss to the end zone again at the jump ball. This one is almost picked off and dropped. Preston.
From his linebacker position.
Preston.
Right. Sean Preston's running with the number 3 receiver vertical from St. James. So what a good Mike linebacker should do to the 3 receiver side as he opens up and gets his drop into the center of that Tampa 2 coverage right there. Knocks the ball away. And it's going to bring up 4th down. Good look at it right here. Boom. Highest point comes up. Almost had the pick. Almost came down with it. You hear that name Tampa 2 all the time. Two defenders high, running the Mike linebacker to the 3 receiver side, right back down the middle of the halves coverage. And right there was a good job of Sean Preston executing Tampa 2.
SportsNola.com Prep Football is presented by First NBC Bank and has a Catholic League matchup between Jesuit and Rummel Saturday night at Joe Yenny Stadium. Catch the Blue Jays and the Raiders Saturday at 7 live at SportsNola.com. 4 seconds, one time enough for one play, and that's all St. James has. One play, so they come out and line up. Still, Lutcher has a few timeouts to burn. They take a look at the offense, the offensive formation, and at that point, Dwayne Jenkins says, let's call timeout. Let's make sure we've got the right defense in here. Don't let them get 6 on this play.
Well, they want to make sure that they got the personnel all in the right place, got the right personnel on the field to make sure that they get it knocked down. And you can see right there, they got big number 1. Right.
3 rush, 8 back.
Real back. 8 back, and that's big number 1 right there for from Lutcher. Tyreke Belvin back there as the free safety.
Williams going to throw it long in the end zone. It's going to be a jump ball. It's knocked down. Incomplete. And that's how you handle a Hail Mary.
Prevent defense. Tyreke Belvin comes up and does a nice job knocking it down.
At Dog Yard, fans are happy because their Bulldogs are up 21-8. Back with halftime right after this. We're back at Lutcher at halftime. Lutcher leads St. James 21-8. Battle of St. James Parish. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, Les Easton on the field. Our entire WHNO-TV crew. It's been an exciting first half. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I'll tell you what. The bottom line is this. St. James giving up too many big plays. All right, I said one of the keys of their game is they have to make sure they don't give up the jambalaya, meaning big plays, and that's what they've done. You know, they haven't answered since the very first quarter on their first drive, okay? So they've got to make some adjustments at halftime in order to shut down Lutcher's big plays.
Well, you take a look at the first half highlights and you'll see St. James takes the opening kick. They drive down and very quickly here at Lutcher, they get on the board with Kirtland Johnson scoring on a 3-yard run. They go for 2. They make it. It's 8-0, but Lutcher comes right back. Quarterback keeping it and scoring. Jontre with the touchdown. And then next they'll go to Al Dontre Davis, and Davis with that double screen takes it in for the score, and it's a lead that Lutcher would not give up.
Right, and then we've got ourselves a Lutcher interception right here. I tell you what, really great play by number 10, Marquand Williams, looking lean, leaning inside the receiver and coming down with the pick. And then you got Greg Clayton on the Lutcher touchdown on this bomb with a fingertip catch for 6. What a catch by Gregory Clayton.
31-yard catch, and that gives us the halftime lead of 21-8 by Lutcher. Take a look at our halftime stats and what stands out most to you.
Well, what stands out right there is look at the balance that Lutcher has right there on, excuse me, not the balance that they have is they're throwing for big plays, should I say. And St. James is going to have to shut down those big throwing plays of the Lutcher Bulldogs. St. James has moved the ball well on the night. They've got 200 yards total offense, but they're giving up big plays on defense.
With that, we will take a break and be back with our second half right after this. Halftime here at Lutcher, 21-8 Bulldogs.
High School, marching the Atomic Band under the director of bands, Leslie Holmes. Couple announcements. We have some vehicles that need to be moved immediately. First, Marshall Scott, fourth, a red Lincoln. You need to move your vehicle or it will be towed. Marshall Scott, fourth, red Lincoln. Clifford, Valerie, Simon.
Good look at the St. James Wildcats first-year head coach Robert Valdez. Even though he's new to St. James, he's got a history here. He coached at West St. John, McKinley, Scotlandville, and this year got the call to lead the St. James Wildcats. Good look at him there when he led the West St. John team, and he got that job on the other sideline because this man right here retired, Tim Detillier, and when he did, Dwayne Jenkins, who was the head coach at St. James, was called back home to his alma mater, where he was also an assistant coach for Tim Detillier, and he said he just looks forward to coming back home and here in his first year as head coach of the Lutcher Bulldogs. Hopes his stay can be as long as that man stay right there who won 4 state championships for the Lutcher Bulldogs, including the big one last year in the Louisiana Superdome, beating this very team across the way, St. James, for the second time. Had to beat them twice last year in regular season and again in the state championship game.
Right. Well, I mean, I've known both coaches for a while. I you know, Coach Valdez, I've known him since he was at West St. John, and I tell you what, he's always run a fine program everywhere he's gone. His kids are very well coached up. They play hard every week, and it'll be no different this. It's been no different this year at St. James, and no different in the future at St. James. And then, of course, you know, Coach Jenkins, I've known him since he was a young guy, and he was playing right here at Lutcher High School for Tim Detillier. And you know, that was, I'm sure that was rough on both guys last year in the state finals, having to meet in the state finals. But I tell you what, both of them are great competitors and great coaches. And Coach Jenkins will carry on the great Lutcher Bulldog tradition that has been set up here over the years.
Lutcher leading at halftime, 21-8. We start the second half of play. Lasserre to kick it. And the Bulldogs, who had won the opening toss, deferred, have the ball, and here they come. Good field position for the Lutcher Bulldogs as they start the second half. 25-yard return. Let's go downstairs to Les East, who talked with both coaches at halftime.
Yeah, guys, Lutcher coach Dwayne Jenkins was pretty happy with the first half. Slow start, liked the way his team responded, especially the way the offense got the passing game going. A little sloppy at the end of the half, but he says if they can straighten things out here on the first possession, he feels good. And speaking of this possession, Robert Valdez, the head coach at St. James, says it's imperative that they get a stop here on the first possession, and it's going to be tougher on his offense in the second half because his running back, Dontrez Sterling, is done for the night with an ankle injury. Ken?
The stop just to get things started, and he got it. Jason Dumas, the second guy to put the hit on John Trey Kirkland and throw him for a loss on first down. Somebody initially put the stop on him also. So a good start defensively and a 7-yard loss.
Right, John Trey Kirkland was looking over to his left to try to get the ball out, and on a quick screen it was all covered, so he had to tuck the ball, and there was the St. James defensive line right there to smother him.
Again, big pressure coming, and goodness gracious, Kirkland just has to throw the ball away because he was about to get sacked again.
Tell you what, he had no place to go right there, and putting the pressure on him again was Jason Dumas. You can see Jason Dumas coming into your picture right there. Dragging him down.
Coach Valdez calls Jason Dumas a monster on the defensive line. He says he is just so aggressive, finds a way to get to the quarterback, and sure enough, he's showing why the coach gives him that nickname.
Well, I've always said the first 2 minutes of the second half are probably the most important part of the game. It is imperative that St. James gets a stop.
3rd and long, he's going to go for it all, looking for Al Dontre down there, but overthrows him. Closest man to it was one of the defensive backs for the St. James Wildcat, Andre Dennis.
Andre Dennis was all over it on the vertical route again. No place for the receiver to break open. Andre Dennis, nice job staying on top of the vertical receiver.
So 1-2-3 punt for the Lutcher Bulldogs, unless they've got something up their sleeve, which I don't think they would. With a 21-8 lead, into the game comes Dylan Ricotta, also the 5 defensive back who serves as the punter. Ricotta averages just under 40 yards a punt. Not much of a rush. The return is on. Fair catch called for. He doesn't make it. It's going to get a great Lutcher roll, and it's saved from going into the end zone and down at the 1-yard line.
Oh, all right, here's the deal. All right, you put your hand up for a fair catch the ball.
Yes.
All right, catch the ball. That's got to be taught. Here's a good look at it right here. You didn't get to see the fair catch signal. Great effort right there.
59-yard punt.
Great effort by Aldontre Davis keeping the ball in down to the 1-yard line. Now St. James, who did a great job on defense getting their stop. Now they got to play with their end zone to their back.
Gregory Clayton was there to make sure he downs the ball. So DeMarcus Williams at quarterback has his first half numbers. But that interception stopped a drive, and now the Wildcats have to play very carefully from their own 1-yard line. DeMarcus Williams standing about 4 yards deep in the end zone. Johnson behind him at the running back spot. Give to Johnson, looking for room, gets a little bit. There was a hole, it closed very quickly by the Bulldogs. Dylan Ricotta just stepped in and made a good hard hit.
Well, I'll tell you what I saw right there, Ken, from the Lutcher secondary. They're disguising their coverages a little bit more now. At least they did on that play. They showed a too-high look, and then they walked the safety down, and then up comes Dylan Ricotta for a huge hit, and then they walked the free safety across the top. That's how they got the extra player down into the box to give them 7 players in the box to stop the run right there.
They're at the 1, so they get a little bit of breathing room. But Williams is still standing in his end zone to take this snap. Nothing fancy here, just a run again, looking for some room at Sean LaBeouf, his 20th carry of the year.
There were 5 guys in the box that time. You think that's a run number, but I tell you what, Rowdy Gaines and Deshaun Smith, like you said, did a great job getting off their blocks and shutting down that inside zone play from St. James.
So now it's 3rd down, 6. Right at the 5-yard line. Williams drops back into his own end zone. looking for room. He's in trouble, goes down as he gets back close to the line of scrimmage, and the Lutcher defense was at its best on that series. Rowdy Scott with the tackle.
Rowdy Scott staying at home right there. DeMarcus Williams kind of works his way up into the middle. Nothing open. Trying to scramble out of there. Good look at Rowdy Scott shutting it down and getting the sack.
Well, Dontre Davis back, and he's standing at the St. James Wildcat 30-yard line as the punt's coming from near the back of the end zone by Tyler Sayre.
Tell you what, Lutcher is going to start off with great field position again for their second drive.
Actually, Dante Costley's back to punt this time. And Davis looks like he was going to escape, but Aldontre goes down. Still great field position for the Lutcher Bulldogs on this one. So we'll take a break. When we come back, let's see if the Bulldogs can get close.
And out in the area, but right there to make the play.
St. James defense putting a lot of pressure, playing a little bit more inspired in this second half. Look at this pressure again, and suddenly John Trey Kirkland goes down. He didn't see this kind of pressure in the first half, so defense doing something a little bit different for the Wildcats, and it's working.
Well, Jason Dumas right there, plus they brought a blitz off the edge. You had a couple of linebackers coming off the edge for St. James, applying a little pressure. They went to man coverage that time, and throughout these past two series, it looks like Lutcher is sleepwalking right here, Ken. They're just not playing with the same amount of intensity, or want to, should I say, that we saw in the first half.
And I think some of that is because the Wildcat defense is putting so much pressure on them, they're shaking their heads a little bit going, what's happening? A little different here. Pass out to Aldontre Davis, and look at him escape once, twice, and finally the third time he goes down inside the 40-yard line.
Stopped on downs, wide receiver screen out there. He breaks two tackles athletically, but the rest of the St. James defense catches up. Look at the pursuit of the white jerseys. 1, 2, 3, and here come the rest of the white jerseys. Great job athletically by Aldontre Davis. Great job by the St. James defense, playing a little more inspired football, getting out there and making Lutcher turn it over on downs.
Well, you and I always talk about adjustments at halftime, and the Wildcat defense, one of the adjustments was definitely to find ways to put more pressure on Kirkland.
Well, biggest adjustment I see is they're playing with a lot more energy. They're getting after it.
And that's important. So after they take over on downs, 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, Williams, and all of a sudden, boom, he goes down. The linebacker, Rashawn Preston, comes from nowhere and makes the stop.
Sean Preston scrapes from his linebacker position to keep Williams from sprinting out to his left. Here comes Preston. Great play.
Containing the quarterback. Of 9.
Right, containing the quarterback from his linebacker position. There's a good look at Preston right there.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now. He's had a good first half and is being followed by a good second half. That might inspire the Lutcher Bulldogs. Second down, 19, long way to go. DeMarcus Williams at quarterback. Give to Johnson. Tries the left end sweep behind some blockers and gets a few.
Johnson on the carry.
Trying to pick up half of it back, nowhere to go. Lutcher defense pursues to the ball real well and makes a nice play out there.
Rowdy Scott.
Yeah, Rowdy Scott. I'll tell you, Rowdy Scott's a player. Tell you what, he's got a motor. He plays fast. He reminds me a little bit of a guy that played for him last year named Sully Lesh.
Oh, and what Sully Lesh had when he left here, he took right down the road to Thibodeau and is doing it for the Nicholls State defense this year. He is all over the field for Coach Tim Rebo's Colonels. And there's the throw and the catch. Dantes Costly with a big gain. And if the Wildcats needed a spark, they just got it from their leading receiver, Dantes Costly, the senior.
Well, that started with DeMarcus Williams, Ken, getting out of the pressure, escaping the pressure to his right, and finding a wide-open Dantes Costly, extending the play, finding a wide-open wide receiver, Dantes Costly on the boundary. Look at him extend the play right here. Watch this. Athletic play, gets the ball out there, and then Dantes Costly runs left, runs right, and he has a big gain.
Sometimes you have to go to your playmakers, and Costly is one of their playmakers. They'll keep it on the ground this time. And this one inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. Kirtland Johnson with a big run. Take that back. That is Tyron Jasmine.
Tyron Jasmine in at running back. Number 8. It did look like Kirtland Johnson, but it is Tyron Jasmine.
Senior. Again, only 7 carries coming into the game, so he carries for the 8th time this year. Seldom used, making the most out of the carries he gets. We'll get the call again. This time cuts in behind his left tackle, and he's inside the 15.
So you could look at it on a sweep. It's a sweep outside zone stretch. He sees a crease and he hammers it up inside. Brings up a 3rd and short, or are they going to move the chains? Are they going to measure? Oh, no, it's the first down. They gave him the first down.
Oh, we had to wait for a moment because the marker changed and
they didn't move the chains.
The downs marker changed, but they didn't move the chains. Now they've got the chain set. That's what we were waiting for. And we've got movement all over the place. Flags are down.
Oh, my goodness. You got the wide receiver moving out there. They did it back in the first half, if you remember that. And I went off on my little soliloquy about the wide receiver has to look inside at the ball.
Illegal procedure. The offense from the 17. 5 yards. First down.
Tell you what, that's going to pull the hair out of Coach Valdez's head right there. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
Well, it's still first down, which will add another 5 to it, so it's first down 15. Marcus Williams, he'll keep. He has room on the left side. All the open real estate closed quickly, and he was forced out of bounds.
That's a design quarterback draw. They motion the back out of the backfield to give you an empty backfield to try to move the secondary around. He looks over at it, tucks it, and takes off. Quarterback draw.
Marcon Williams had some help from Ethan Bland on the far side. Second down 9. Got the penalty yardage and 1 more back.
2nd and 9 for the Wildcats.
Wildcats need a score here. Down 21-8 after taking the early lead in this game, 8-0 on a touchdown on a 2-point conversion. There's the toss right side wide open, and a scoop into the end zone for the touchdown by the freshman Shamar Smith.
Wide receiver screen, great blocking out there on the corner by the other wide receiver. I think that was Dantes Costly out there blocking on the corner. The corner from Lutcher. Colin Wiggins, number 21, lost contain. He gets rolled off inside, which allows the freshman Shamar Smith to be able to bounce outside and walk into the end zone.
12-yard TD. We've got a ball game again. 21-14. Wildcats will go for one. Tyler Sayre to attempt the point after. It's a fake. They're going to go for two. They didn't make it. A fake. They go for two, and the defense was right on it. Tyron Jasmine, the holder, running off with the football. And wait a minute, there's a question here. Is there a flag down? There is a flag down to the 12-yard line. Penalty declined. Legal procedure. Penalty declined. No good.
St. James was not set prior to the snap.
2-point try, not good, but they had gone for two earlier, made it. So there's another look at the touchdown. It's a 21-14 ball game. St. James pulls within one score of Lutcher. One possession game, one score game. Lutcher with the lead by a touchdown and an extra point. Wildcats to kick off. This one will be short. Pulled in at the 28-yard line. And a little bit of room for Bell. Here goes Tyreke Belvin. And Belvin finally pushed out of bounds. Lutcher will have good field position. When we come back, we'll take another break. We are at the dog yard. Lutcher by a score. We are back. Lutcher, after the short kick and a good return by Tyreke Belvin, has great field position at the St. James 41-yard line. And look at this pressure. Here it comes again. My goodness. This time Chase Davis, the junior, coming from nowhere. That pressure is making a difference. It is whatever adjustment was made. Look at it working.
Well, I think right there we had a missed block. He had pressure. Chase Davis does a nice job.
He's loving it.
You think? Getting off of that and getting a big sack. Look, Mom, I got a sack. Tell you what, nice job by Chase Davis.
Moves the ball back to the 50, second down. 19 after the 9-yard loss on that play. Chantre Kirkland. Gonna get a little protection in that backfield. Chantre around the right side, gang tackle at the 45-yard line of the Wildcats. Flag down again, hold everything.
Something happened over there on the sideline, Ken. Don't know exactly what it is. There's one yellow flag, two yellow flags. I saw at least two in the air. Let's see what we got.
Highway 3125, Wheelhouse. Stays open late on Friday nights after the football game.
Well, if it's something like that, it's probably some sort of unsportsmanlike personal foul, something of that nature. Here we go.
Personal foul, Lutcher.
15 yards, be third down.
All right, there you go. Personal foul on Lutcher. They're going to back it up 15 yards from that spot. We don't know what happened over there, but it caused two flags to come flying. So it had to be pretty deliberate. It's going to put Lutcher way, way, way off of schedule. It's going to make it 2nd and a millennium.
Yeah, 2nd, and you've got to go all the way to Airline Highway for a first down. Goodness gracious, 3rd down. As you look at the yards,
look at the domination right there. You just pointed out.
Total domination
on the screen.
by the
Total domination.
Wildcat
They
defense.
turned up their motor a bit.
Kirkland, he's throwing. He's got a man. And that's going to pick up a lot of the yardage back on the catch for Lutcher by Rondell Mealy. Little Rondell Mealy with the catch for the Lutcher Bulldogs for 21 yards. And if that name sounds familiar, yes, that is Rondell Mealy of LSU's son.
Wow, I was having a flashback.
Dad played for Destrehan, not Lutcher, but they live here, and little Rondell is playing right here. We did not see him in the first half. He's a little bitty guy, 5'10", 155, only a sophomore. But coach says, watch him. He's going to be explosive. He could be one of the big futures of this Bulldog program. 4th and 9. Not to give it up on downs. Kirkland on the run. Gets away. Uncorks one long. It is tipped and then picked off. Did he get it? Did he hold it? I think he did. And that is Sean Preston.
Sean Preston
came
on
up
the
with
tip
the tip
drill.
ball, yes.
On the tip drill, I tell you what. Jontre Kirkland extends the play, almost sacked from the pressure. Here's a good look at it again. Chasing him down was Tyron Jasmine. Ball in the air. Great coverage. Tip up. Pick by number 7 right there. Sean Preston. Great play.
As
Great
good as a punt.
play.
As good as a punt at this stage.
Great defensive play. Good as a punt, but I tell you what, it goes down as a great stat.
Absolutely.
For Sean Preston.
So St. James will have the football now.
Biggest difference I see right now, Ken, is I see this pressure, as you said, that St. James has decided to start bringing, and it's making Jontre Kirkland make some poor decisions with the ball.
Now they've got it back at their 13-yard line. Marcus Williams at quarterback. And keep it on the ground on first down. Kirtland Johnson. And that might be, and will be, probably the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was outside zone stretch right there, nowhere to go. Great pursuit by that Lutcher defense. Lutcher has done a great job pursuing all night, shutting down Kirtland Johnson.
After 3. All the fans at the dog yard liking it because their Bulldogs still lead by 7. Les East down on the field. Tommy Cooper in the booth with us, our entire WHNO-TV crew. What a game this has been. The Battle of St. James Parish, one of the intense rivalries in Louisiana. And Lutcher leads it 21-14. St. James has it. They've had a little momentum defensively, but it has not carried over to the offensive side of the football. DeMarcus Williams at quarterback. Good look at him. Behind him, Trigg. And there's a little toss back, and a pass from Shamar Smith is underthrown, incomplete.
Quarterback out of the backfield. They're trying to hit DeMarcus Williams on a throwback to the quarterback. He's wide open. It's just the ball was underthrown and a little slow getting there. If they hit him in stride, he's out there in front of it with the blocker and the ball. Here we go. Just a little short. Didn't hit him in stride. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at that look. He knows he had that shot right there.
And look, that's a freshman throwing the football. So I know they practiced that play, but he hasn't done it a lot in the game. He doesn't have a lot of experience in a big game like this. Hey, you try it, little razzle-dazzle, who knows?
You know,
now it's third down.
You practice stuff like that, you got to call it in the game.
Oh, you got, yeah, you're right. But they've also got to move the chains here. Third down, 8, long way to go. And here's the toss. This ought to be enough for the first down. And there is the catch. Just made that catch. Vaughn White, a big 6'4", 180-pound freshman, a guy who doesn't see a lot of action.
Little hitch route, stop right on the boundary. Vaughn White right out there gets the first down. And guess who's there making the tackle? Dylan Ricotta.
But they like his size. Again, you got a freshman, but you got a big 6'4" frame, and he moves the chains. Easy target for your quarterback, DeMarcus Williams. Handoff, Cortland Johnson kicking on the ground, finding a little bit of a hole with a nice cut by him before finally being dropped by Ethan Bland with a nice tackle right on the old thigh pads.
Cortland Johnson, when he gets his shoulder pads north and south, he picks up a head of steam. Look at this right here, off the sweep, shoulder pads north and south, and he accelerates right there.
Well, Ethan Bland, a 4-year starter on this team on the defense, has just played so well. Good numbers on Cortland Johnson. He's worked hard for those 54 yards you saw on the screen, too. This time, a keeper by DeMarcus Williams at quarterback, and he'll move the chains. And now the Wildcats have a little bit going after that 9-yard gain. They're picking up a little head of steam offensively.
DeMarcus disconnects off of the zone read right there and takes it up inside into a nice crease to pick up the first down.
First down for the Wildcats. Play action. There's the toss. There you got your big freshman, tall wide receiver to Vaughn White, going up with his hands on that big 6'4" frame. You can throw it up high. He gets 19 yards and another first down. So here a freshman comes off the bench. He's making things happen.
Run pass option right there. He counted the box and he saw the coverage out here. He knew he was going to pull the ball out of the running back's belly and throw it out there on a slant route to the receiver. Run pass option.
RPOs, you love them. You talk about them every week. First and 10 at the 40-yard line of Lutcher. Wildcats playing with a sense of purpose in their step on this drive. There's the catch by Shamar Smith. A lot of freshmen making some big plays for this Wildcat offense and defense.
Well, Shamar Smith is a fine receiver. He's a very good athlete. No doubt Robert Valdez has a lot of confidence in putting a freshman out there, and he's shown it tonight. He had a couple nice catches. He's made a couple nice runs when he's gotten the ball out in the open. He's going to be somebody to watch for the next 4 years.
4 years.
3.5 now.
As you watch it on your screen, 17 and 19, 2 wide receivers, both freshmen making some pretty big plays. DeMarcus Williams will keep on this one and gets positive yardage near the 30, going to be very close to a first down.
Roddy Scott makes a play. His helmet pops off. He's going to have to come off the field for a down. There you go. Zone read right there. Quarterback pulls the ball, disconnects the ball, and keeps it up inside. Roddy Scott makes a nice hit. Helmet pops off, as we said. High school rules, just like college as well as pro, you're going to have to come off for a down to get the helmet fixed and check to make sure you're okay. All for the protection of the player.
So close, they're going to call the chains out for a measurement to see if the spot gives the Wildcats a first down very close to the 30-yard line. Just missed it. Game of inches. So it'll be third down and inches for the Wildcats, and what would obviously be 2-down territory because you're way out of field goal range. And field goal right now, even with this much time. Well, let's see. Here they go. Everybody stacked in tight on that line. Marcus Williams, he wants to throw one on 3rd and inches in 2-down territory. He's going to go for it all. It's incomplete, intended for Dantes Costley.
I like the call.
Dantes is asking for a little help. He's not going to get it.
He's his best impersonation of an attorney. I love the call.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that short. Let's take a shot right here. So they take a shot on the fade route. I tell you what, Dantes better not ask too hard because he pushed us off right there at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so he's lucky I didn't go against him. Now you come back because you know it's 2 downs. You're going to have to get about a half a yard here for the 1st down or 4th down.
Let's see if DeMarcus Williams just keeps it as he will on this quarterback keeper. Pushes across to 30, moves the chains. 1st down, St. James.
Picks up the 1st down.
Big 1st down right there off the quarterback keeper for the quarterback sneak right there. They got a nice push right there. We call that on the offensive line. We want to apex that. Everybody wants to apex down inside and try to get movement right there in those 2 A gaps on either side of the center and create a crease for your quarterback to sneak up into.
Timeout called on the field. We'll take one with them. 8 minutes and 52 seconds to play in this game. 21-14. Lutcher holding on. Catcher could get that. 3rd down. And another flag.
They're going to get Dantes Costley out there again for jumping.
Number 9 on the offense, 5 yards.
I think that's 3rd down. That's 2 or 3 times tonight on Dantes Costley as far as he's made some nice plays, but he's also cost his team an illegal procedure penalties. Again, a wide receiver should never move until the ball moves. He should be looking at the ball.
His penalty, and I have to say it, is very costly.
Oh, but
Dantes Costley.
Thank you. You'll be here all night.
Still 3rd down, but it's 3rd and 11. Look at the room for DeMarcus Williams, and boy, the hole closes quickly, and he's stuffed.
Tell you what, Rashawn Preston and
Once
Dylan
again.
Ricotta, they close it down fast.
Ricotta, another 4-year starter, as was Ethan Bland on this defense, and he shows why on this play.
Tell you what, I am really impressed with Ricotta. He flies around, man. I tell you what, he
that
has.
was Preston, number 4, who made that hit too.
This kid has no regard for his body. He's all over the place.
4th down. Will St. James talk about this? Will they call timeout and talk about it? They will. So now we've got a team calling a timeout. We'll take one with them. Only 6:50 to play. Big talk to keep this drive alive. Beginning of this contest tonight, we talked about this having statewide implications. Take a look at the top 10 for SportsNola.com. You'll see why. Look at
There,
these number 3
there it
and
is.
number
And
4.
3 weeks from now, you could see Lutcher and St. James at the top of their respective brackets.
Well, look who's sitting there as number 1.
Right, but
who's
when they
also
get to
in
the
this
playoffs,
district.
just let's remember a couple things. When they get to the playoffs, they're not going to be there. They're going to be on the other side in the select. It's West Feliciana, Lutcher, and St. James. How big is this game? You're right.
St.
Huge
James has
implications.
De La Salle next week, and of course Lutcher closes with the Cavaliers in a couple of weeks. Here's your toss, and they will not make the first down. Trying to lateral the football, and he does, but they blow it dead. Wiggins.
That was Cohen Wiggins out there on the stick on the wide receiver screen, coming up and making a great tackle.
Now they're going to give it up on downs right there.
Cohen
Tough
Wiggins,
to do with less than 7 minutes to play. Another look at
another
it.
look. Cohen Wiggins comes up from his cornerback position on the wide receiver screen and makes a form tackle. You know, why does he try to lateral the ball there? I have no idea. Not very smart.
Well, his forward progress was already
but
stopped.
still,
He had the
you
right
don't do that.
idea, but the progress was
Correct, but you don't do that. That's teaching. Make sure that doesn't happen again. Terrible idea.
Now Lutcher takes over the football, and let's see if they can sustain a drive. They've got a 7-point lead to protect, and they'll keep it on the ground on first down, because one thing the Bulldogs would like right now is the clock to continue to run.
Well, they're going to have to burn some clock, force St. James to use those other 2 timeouts that they have. They got to move the chains.
We talk about a 4-minute offense. We talked about it last week. With 6.5 to go, is it too early to put that 4-minute offense into effect?
No, they're gonna try to burn some clock right here. Keep the ball on the ground, make some things happen.
Kirkland on the run. Nice jump over the pile to keep this one alive, and he gets the first down. That's the way you burn some clock, as you just talked about, Wade, right there up to the 45-yard line.
Well, when you've got Jontre Kirkland back there as a dual threat, throwing the ball, running the ball on this quarterback sweep right here, it's a great way to burn clock.
Look, that's the initial first down of the second half for Lutcher. They have been sleepwalking through their offense, but now they're waking up and making it happen. Again, Vaughn Adams just with a run up the middle and eat clock until St. James defense can stop you. And remember, St. James has done such a great job with the pressure, but it's not working on this series yet.
Well, you know, Vaughn Adams right there does a nice job. Hard to go down right there. Idea is to obviously keep the clock running, as you said, but I tell you what, Jontre Kirkland back there, you've got that dual threat, as I said, can make some things happen even if he's just running the ball. Makes you miss.
Well, Dontre Davis has been quiet on this series, and Kirkland in trouble again, goes down, tries to throw it away in the process. Did he get it off? Yes, he did.
I think he got it off, but it's a bad decision. And he's just got to go down and take the sack right there. We've got a timeout. and it's official's timeout because of an injury. I mean, he's again catching it with his fingertips. He has nowhere to go. Let's try not to force this.
No, because he almost put that right into the chest of a defensive lineman or a linebacker who wasn't expecting that pass, but had he been, it could have been an interception and a turnover.
Right, and so he's got to make a better decision than that. I'm sure they'll talk to him about that.
Well, we're looking at this injured Wildcat. Let's take a look at the St. James schedule because we looked at the top 10 just a moment ago, and we saw the number 3 and 4 teams. These two teams, we mentioned that they have De La Salle next week, so they have them at home, but De La Salle right now the number 1 team in the SportsNola.com top 10. Then they close with McMain and Renaissance, but their season could be made or lost, not only this week, but this weekend next week.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get any easier next week. We did De La Salle earlier in the year when we were over in, I believe, Wayne County, Mississippi, and we saw an outstanding football team, skilled athletes at De La Salle. So, St. James tonight, they're going to have to, they're right here in this thing. They're going to get a turnover in 5 minutes, 16 seconds to try to score again. But they got to turn right around and have a short memory, win or lose, and get ready for a really good De La Salle team.
Oh, man.
Look at the points they've been scoring. See those points? Look at the points they've been putting up. I'll tell you what.
Look, this is an undefeated St. James team, 6-0, 3-0 in district play. Lutcher 5-1, 3-0, and it always comes down, or it seems to always come down between these three powerhouses.
Well, this is a credit to Robert Valdez. Okay, he comes in. Dwayne Jenkins goes over to St. James 3 years ago, does a great job, comes back over as Tim Detier retires, takes the Lutcher job. We know the story. We talked about it. But what a great job by Robert Valdez to come in and keep the program that Dwayne Jenkins established, keep it on track.
That was the best lineman they've got, Jason Dumas, off the field. So they'll go quickly with the pass, and there's your first down to move the chains again. This one caught by Jacoby Williams, the junior.
Jacoby Williams runs a post route, and he gets hit right in the hands on a very nice pass by Kirkland. Here's a good look at it right there. Quick post or slant route. Great catch, great throw.
13-yard gain, the first third down conversion tonight for the Lutcher Bulldogs.
My goodness, isn't that amazing?
But they do have the lead.
Right, it's because of big plays.
Don't forget that, because of big plays. They've got the lead. As you said, the Wildcats gave up the jambalaya a number of times. Aldontre Davis, no, they stop him. Was that Aldontre? Yes, it was on the other side.
That was
stopped by Kyron Harris.
Kyron Harris right there, 6'2", 240 on the sweep play. Makes a nice play behind the line of scrimmage for a big loss.
Remember, you don't have Dumas on the line right now. They miss him when he's not there. That was a 5-yard loss. Second down, 15 for Lutcher. Working the clock as we're under 4.5 to go in this game, and they protect the 1-touchdown lead. Kirkland, snap. Look at the pressure. Kirkland in trouble. Gets away again, and he'll throw it long. He's got a man with a step and could get the ball to him. That was Tyreke Belvin.
Tyreke Belvin just couldn't get there to get the ball. I'll tell you what a good-looking kid Tyreke Belvin is.
Flag on the play.
Holding penalty right there, 6'3", 180, Tyreke Belvin. I tell you what, he is a fine athlete. This holding penalty is going to back him up. This is a huge call. It is a huge call from the switch of field position if St. James can force them
holding
to
the
punt.
offense, number 74. That penalty is declined. Third down.
Smart call, declining the penalty. It'll bring up third down and long as it is. So you could have either thought about taking it in the field position. There's a good look right there at the coaching staff from Lutcher, Dwayne Jenkins.
Not happy.
Right, not happy. Or you could decline it, and a good decision right here, declining that penalty.
Third down, 15. Remember, the Bulldogs did convert their first third down opportunity, but it was much shorter than this. Third down, 15. Kirkland with time. He's going to throw long. He's got Aldontre Davis one step deep, and he cannot hold on to the football. Flag down also.
Tell you what, Chantre Kirkland does a nice job extending the play right there, just escaping the pressure, stepping up, and throwing it deep as the officials discuss what I think is going to probably be some sort of interference penalty.
Aldontre Davis, the senior, 6'1", good frame, 205 pounds.
Pass interference on the defense, number 13. 15-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
All right, there you go, number 13 on the interference. Let's see if we can see it right here. Yes, there it is. You saw his left hand wrapping around his chest. Good call by the officials there.
It's your best defensive back against the best wide receiver for Lutcher. Glenn Brown, 6 interceptions on the year. He can do everything. He's a good defender. He has 7 pass breakups coming into tonight's game. They're going to put him on Aldontre Davis and say, stop him.
Well, you know, Ken, here's the bottom line. All right, you're trying to make a play. All right, you're trying to make a play, and you're fighting. You're going to do whatever you can. You see it on Sunday, you see it on Saturday, you see it on Friday night. 2 athletes fighting it off. Now, here's the deal. It's not an automatic first down. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for Lutcher.
That's right. They had 3rd and long. Now it's 3rd down and 1. It's actually 3rd and inches. Not an automatic first down, but you also didn't give up the touchdown. You give up the penalty yardage, but not the touchdown. Up the middle. There they go. Jontre Kirkland, he's got the first down.
Design quarterback isolation play, leading a blocker up inside to block a linebacker. Jontre Kirkland looking for a crease to run, and there he goes, and he moves the chains.
Again, if I'm a defensive back in high school and I think I'm going to give up the touchdown, I'd rather give up the penalty yardage and play it again.
Well, it just depends on where it is on the field and what the yardage is. So, you know, no, the bottom line is that he's fighting his tail off to try to make a play, and credit both kids playing hard. He just got the interference penalty.
It is a first down. Lutcher's drive stays alive. They're going to take the shot into the end zone for Aldontre Davis. It's batted down. Thrown short. Everybody at the back pedal, wait for the football. And once again, pretty good coverage by Glenn Brown.
Glenn Brown does a great job right there, jumping up and knocking the ball down. You know, I'll tell you what, Lutcher's still taking their shots, huh?
They are. You know, you got to get like you got a guy like Aldontre Davis. You have to take the shot, even if a guy like Glenn Brown is covering him.
Yeah. I'd be thinking a little bit about that clock. I kind of want to run some of that 3:27 off, and
yeah.
You know, but they're still taking their shots. They're aggressive, that's for sure.
I agree with you. 2nd down 10. Let's see if they'll choose to run some off now. They will, yes, with Jontre Kirkland on the fake give, and then he'll keep and just look at him carry the pile with him, pushing forward. But they're going to stop him at the 26-yard line.
You know, St. James, with their 2 timeouts, they need to start thinking about conserving some time. They might need to use one here. They might have thought about using it there. Maybe if Lutcher runs the ball right here, they might want to call timeout.
Got a little bit of a bobbled snap on that last one, too.
Well, that's been happening the whole second half.
Yeah.
We've seen him drop that, kind of nonchalantly reaching down and getting the ball. That's something they've got to clean up this week in practice.
All right, here's 3rd down 10. Kirkland directing a little traffic. It's in trouble. He'll throw it short, picked up, and then fumbled out of bounds on the hit. I believe that was Tyreke Belvin on the catch. It was incomplete. They'll say no catch on that.
Oh, I tell you what.
We can see it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that replay and see if that was definitely an incomplete pass. Oh, here we go. Look, I ask, I get. Look at this. See what we got. He dumps it off right here to Tyreke. Catch. 1, 2.
Oh, that's a catch.
That's a catch.
That's a catch, and then a hit and a fumble out of bounds.
I think I'd be throwing my red flag. With a great hit, the helmet hit the ball and popped it out of bounds. And it looks like they're talking about it.
Realize that it looks different in real time. Boom, boom, when it all happens.
Here's
another angle
look.
here.
Dump. What an athletic play.
1, 2.
Great hit, out of bounds. I think that's
a catch.
That's a catch. That's a stat.
Let's see what is Kevin Clement? Incomplete pass. They're going to stay with it.
They're staying with it.
We had the better picture. They can't look at it. No replay in high school. Oh my.
Offside. 74 in the defense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
Offside, Wildcat.
Well, how big was that call now? It would have been 4th and 4. That'd be an automatic first down. Now you're where he would have caught the ball, but you don't have the penalty helping you get the first. You've still got to go out and get these 4 yards on your own. So,
if a woulda, shoulda.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Jim Mora. Big 4th down play. They're going to let this run all the way, the play clock down to 2 seconds, and then they call timeout. We'll take it with them and be back in just a moment. A lot of conversation getting ready to take place in this Lutcher huddle, protecting a 7-point lead with 2:35 to go. If you're interested in purchasing a DVD copy of today's game, send an email to prep@sportsnola.com or call our offices at 504-681-0120 during normal business hours. You'll receive a reply with more information on purchasing a DVD. If you don't get a reply, we'll give you Wade's cell phone and just let him know.
Absolutely.
All right, 4th down. He needs 4. Kirkland throws complete. Aldontre Davis at the 15 breaks a tackle, pushes. He's got the first down. He's got the first down, and he is tackled just outside of the 10, and that might be a backbreaker right there with 2:25 to play.
Tell you what, look at this strike on the numbers. Bang. And then look at this young man fight. He's just not going down.
Who do you go to in the clutch? Your big play receiver.
And I'll tell you what, he is a big play receiver. Aldontre Davis is going to buy a few of those discs tonight. This will be a big game he'll remember for the rest of his life. He's had a great night.
He's in the slot at the top of your screen. Tyreke Belvin way up there. But this is going to be a Kirkland run all the way to the end zone. Touchdown! Jontre Kirkland with 2:03 puts a little icing on the cake for the Lutcher Bulldogs.
Well, again, doing it with his feet, doing it with his arm. We said he was a dual threat, didn't we? And he had to come up big tonight as a dual threat. And I will say that Jontre Kirkland has come up big tonight as a dual threat quarterback.
That's Rashad Pierre, a defensive back, junior, who's being helped off the field and cannot put any pressure on his knee. Yeah, they're going to have to carry him off.
You know, LSU is getting a fine athlete in Jontre Kirkland. You know, he's a receiver, he's a defensive back, punt returner, kick returner.
Hey, they're getting a pretty good one standing on the other sideline, who's out for the year, too. We haven't had a chance to talk about him, and that's Lowell Narcisse. Flag down on this, so hold on. It's not automatic yet.
Well, who knows? They might room together in college, and they'll talk about this game next year as they're both freshmen up in Baton Rouge. They'll pull out a disc, one of the CDs.
Watch it.
And watch it.
Foul on the play. There is no foul on the play. No play occurred. We'll re-kick.
All right, they're picking it up. They're going to re-kick, even though I believe it was blocked initially.
They blew it dead before the play. And I think the reason it was blocked is some of the players heard the whistle, gave up on the play, allowing St. James to get in there and block the kick. Alec Bland to attempt the point after. Who do you think would be holding? Dylan Ricotta. He does everything else. He's a catcher on the baseball team. Good hands. He puts it down. This one's not blocked. It's kicked up and good. 28-14. Lutcher in the lead. Another look at the touchdown with 2:03 to play.
Tell you what, isolation play right there. They wrap the offensive lineman around, lead him up into the hole. That offensive lineman was big number 61, Bronson Hemel, wrapping up into a hole and leading Tyreke Kirkland in for the score, bringing it to 28-14 with 2:03 left to go in this contest.
Well, you look at some happy Lutcher fans in the dog yard. That was a 13-play, 75-yard drive. We talked about that 4-minute offense. 4 minutes, 38 seconds, Coach. 11-yard rushing touchdown by Tyreke Kirkland. Prior to that, the second half, Lutcher had run 10 plays and had 0 yards total offense in the second half.
Well, they decided to turn a switch on that drive, and that switch got turned on, and you see the result.
Wow. Now they've just got to protect it for 2:03. 2-touchdown lead. Squib it or put it deep?
Put it deep.
That's what I'd do. Let's see if they're thinking the same way. Cade Williamson to kick it. And he hears you. Sends it deep.
You know, in high school, when you're able to put the ball into the end zone and every one of your opponents is starting their drives at the 20-yard line,
do it.
That is a great
Absolutely.
motivator for your defense when you know you've got 80 yards to your back to defend.
You know, the interesting thing, if the score holds, each of these teams will have one loss on their overall record, but Lutcher remains undefeated in district play, as is De La Salle so far, and St. James will have the one loss in district play, so they'll be one game behind in the standings, the district standings. First down, look for the empty backfield and the ball to go up in the air real quick. Marcus Williams, they need a touchdown, the onside kick, and a lot more. He'll get out of bounds, and then a little bit of sportsmanship as he's stopped from going down. Here's a look at the standings coming in tonight. I applaud Thaddeus Wattis from stopping DeMarcus Williams, an opponent, from going down. There's a look at the standings.
Well, there you
De
go.
La Salle won on Thursday.
De La Salle won a big game on Thursday. They're at the top of the standings in District 9 3A, and it's a three-way rush to the end, should we say, with De La Salle, St. James, and Lutcher.
Lutcher will climb in those district standings over St. James if this score holds tonight. Setting up maybe an end-of-the-year showdown. This one batted down by Dylan Ricotta. What more could he do outside of cooking the pregame or the postgame meal for the Bulldogs?
I tell you what.
Goodness gracious, what a night.
This guy's awesome. He's everywhere. I'd like to know
how high he got up. Catchers aren't supposed to get up that high.
Wow. I'd like to know what he
are.
has done in his tackles tonight, as far as he's everywhere. He gets a bat down right there. He holds for the PAT.
He may not know it, but as a senior, he may be playing basketball and volleyball getting up that high from here on out. Third down. They've got to move the chains to keep this alive. 3rd and 5. Naturally two-down territory at this point. And there's the toss to the big freshman, Devon White.
Guess who made the tackle?
Dylan Ricotta. And like I could have had my eyes closed and told you that. So didn't have enough for the first down, so here you go, 4th down. It's 4th down 3.
Great tackle.
Wow.
Great tackle right there by number 14, Dylan Ricotta.
Dylan Ricotta, 5'9", 175 pounds, a senior, 4-year starter, leads this team with 44 tackles, 2 interceptions, and he's done it all tonight. Got to at least get the first down. He's running out of time. A second effort at the 33, and he makes the first down. He didn't get past the 30, and he does get the first down and stops the clock with 1:05.
I mean, they got to start taking some shots here. They got 2 timeouts left, 1:05. They get into the end zone, kick an onside kick. This thing is not over. You know, they've got to make something happen. He's got to start pressing the issue a little bit with the throw down the field. Still
have a 4-man rush. 7 drop. Williams with the roll, and he'll just throw it away.
Williams pass goes into
Nowhere to go with the ball. He just takes and throws it out of bounds.
Remember, DeMarcus Williams was never supposed to be at the quarterback slot. Lowell Narcisse was the LSU commit. Tore his ACL, came back to lead, at least play 3 games last year. Teams makes it to the Superdome and hurts the other ACL before they got there, and all of a sudden, boom. He's missing this entire year. Flag is down as they talk about it, and without Lowell Narcisse, St. James has still been an outstanding football team. With him, they'd be a magnificent football team. DeMarcus Williams tonight, a converted wide receiver to quarterback, 16 of 29, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He has stepped up in the role they asked him to play in the absence of Lowell Narcisse, who has kept his commitment to LSU. And Coach O said, yes, you better believe it, we want him.
Well, it's 2 years in a row he's had to do this. You
Yeah.
know, and what a team player.
He's dressed out on the other sideline, pads and everything. I think just as an inspirational thing for this team. And wow, they bring him down and big tackle.
tackle lost by Darren Bowley.
Darren Bowley, and we're down to 23 seconds. Got enough time to get another play in. In for the Lutcher Bulldogs, by the way, comes Cade Williamson wearing Sully Lush's number, old number. 7 seconds. They're trying. Let's see if they can just throw one Hail Mary. Will they get the snap off? Got to hurry. They do get it off. And he's just going to chunk one long, and it is caught on the far sideline, but the game is over. That is it. And this one belongs to the Lutcher Bulldogs, 28-14 over St. James. An exciting game. The battle for St. James Parish this year, 2016, belongs to the Lutcher Bulldogs. And what an exciting and fun game this was to watch. We'll be back with our post game right after this. Lutcher defeats St. James 28-14 to up their record to 6-1, 4-0 in District 9 3A, while the Wildcats fall to 6-1 and they have one loss in district. Wade, your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, outstanding ball game, but it got down to big plays being given up by St. James tonight. You know, if you look back at the stats, the bottom line, Lutcher presses the ball down the field, gets huge plays on big plays that St. James gives up, and that's the story of the ball game here tonight. But let's remember this, Ken. Same thing happened last year. They could wind up, depending on where they are in the bracket, right back in the Dome again, because both of these teams are that good that they can be there playing in the Superdome for the 3A state finals.
Thanks, Wade. And we want to thank everybody for joining us on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Stay tuned for college football next on WHNO as Louisiana takes on UMass. Louisiana Tech takes on UMass. Then it's more high school action as John Curtis meets St. Augustine in a key Catholic League showdown at 6. For Wade Kaiser, Les East, Tommy Cooper in the booth, and our entire WHNO crew, I'm Ken Berthelot. Once again, your final score is Lutcher 28, St. James 14 from the Dog Yard in Lutcher, Louisiana. Hope you enjoyed this game as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Good night, everybody.